For those of you who don't know me, my name is Zoe. So I'm a training and support lead at New Book. Our webinar session today is very much about getting prepped for Christmas or any peak period, really. But obviously in Australia, it's definitely our busiest time. It's hot everywhere. Everyone's escaping for school holidays and things. So some of the areas that we're going to focus on today are going to be surrounding sort of increasing efficiencies in terms of like speeding up your check-in process, providing a few self-service options to your guests to speed up processes or have things sorted before they get here. In addition to that, we'll also be sort of going through, I guess, other ways to little shortcuts that can be, helpful to manage your day-to-day just with the operations team, little shortcuts and things here and there, and ways to increase some revenue and maybe look at, next Christmas, what you can do to improve it again and again. So streamline additional processes for us. But we'll get started. There's heaps to get through. It's pretty chock-a-block. So I'll keep it quite high level. Again, if you need some further insight into some of them, we've got our knowledge base, we've got our support team, and we're always here to help. So I'll just share my screen with us. And if I could just get a thumbs up, if you can see that. Yep, amazing. All right, perfect. So to start off, I just thought we'd do a couple of like quick reminders of little things that can be helpful for like your front desk staff in terms of like bulk checking in, checking out, maybe configuring some settings, how to communicate to one another during these busy times while people are logged into the system. Then we'll get into some self-service options as well. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is our bookings chart. Everyone's seen it. I'm sure some of you already know how to customize this, but there are some helpful things that you can do just, again, to decrease the amount of clicks that you are clicking in the system. And we can do that by configuring various default or required fields on this page. As an example, for those of you who may run a holiday park or RV park, caravan park, you may always want to have this filter button expanded without having to click it every time. That's super easy to default just by going up to options, default and required fields. You also may just want to see a little bit more time. So we're looking 2 weeks. Maybe we always want to view a month so we can see upcoming dates and move more bookings around and so on. Options, default required fields. And you can configure that just for your username or all other users depending on your access. So all you do is have a look at all the other fields we've got. But for this one, we'd head down to filter options, force it to be on yes. And another one I'd just like to point out as well is this display special dates as a header, which is a new update we've had recently. So if you have those special date features for your event periods that appear on the top of your booking chart, we've actually created a separate area that will split those out and make it even clearer for you to see. So I'll do that, and I'm just going to also make this bigger for a month and save. So that just means it will reset, and every time I come into this page now, that button's going to be expanded. You'll see the dates are on a month, and you'll also see this new feature. So special dates actually have their own little bar here as well. And you can double click into them from here, edit them if you need to extend a day or whatnot. But again, that's just a quick way to communicate that there's, a particular event on during one of your seasons throughout the year. So that's your customization for the booking chart. And just other things like using your, your arrival list, your departure list, your check-in, check-out, in-house list, remembering that you can configure to show extra information that's going to be helpful for your staff to just quickly view and know that they, can call somebody if they just need to see their mobile number, or if they need to quickly see if somebody's actually, signed an agreement before checking in. We can always head up to that options, column config. I'll just move that out of the way. Options, column configuration, and again, on the left, what they're viewing, and on the right, the extra items that they want to add in. So again, I could add in something like mobile number. There we go. So mobile phone plus save, and then that will add that in. So if I need to call them, let them know that, it's going to be a late check-in, that kind of thing. I've got that info nice and easily accessible. So separate to that, we then have our notifications feature. So this is just found again in the menu. This is great if you need to notify your entire staff network or team of something important that's happening at the property right now. You know, you might be having issues with some rowdy guests. It could be that, you know, the pool for whatever reason has had to be closed and you just want all staff to be aware to let the guests know. Head to notifications, add a notification, and you can generate it for either all staff or specific people and specify what dates that's actually going to appear for and the note under here. And if you need your staff to actually acknowledge that, you can place it on yes to ensure that they're actually reading it and acknowledging those items. And that will appear as a big giant pop-up, you know, on your window if you want if you want to, so they can't ignore it. So it's a really clear way to communicate things, even if there's a change in a particular day-to-day process that you want everyone to be aware of. So notifications are a great way to do that one. We've also got as well the scheduled report. So if there's anything, you know, if you've got additional housekeepers on, maintenance team members on, additional casual staff, and you just want them to be emailed things each day so that they're, you know, up to date on things that they need to do, and they're not having to manually log in and run these, schedule reports is a great way to manage those. So adding those in, again, it could be a maintenance list to your maintenance team members, housekeeping, and so on. So find the list here and then click, and then you can basically set how they want to receive it, any custom report options, and what period and when it should start sending from and how often. And then underneath there, where you add all of your different users into this section. So those are just a couple of things that are just helpful, I guess, for tweaking things, again, making your day-to-day staff or operations team members be able to do things super quick and not, you know, click around too much or search too much in the system. So those are just a couple of extra areas in the system. But other than that, I want to jump straight into some of the self-service options that we have for our guests. So these, again, they benefit the guests, but they also benefit us because they essentially allow us to ensure that maybe guests are filling forms out before they arrive. So we've got all the important info. And again, when they come to check in, we might just be able to hand them their keys and they can go on their merry way. So I've got a booking here for Zoe Smith, and what we can do is send the online guest registration email to them. This can be automated by the automated contact feature as well. And what it will do is essentially, you know, send this email, they'll get a link to open, and then it will direct them to this booking page here. And it basically just confirms all their details. They can tick any, you know, required fields or custom questions that you've created, and read through the text and simply sort of sign here and then save. So we know they're all sort of sorted prior to them actually arriving in the system. And again, the benefit of that, if we were to, you know, have a look back into our arrivals list, is if we have configured on here to show any signable documents, it's going to tell us who's actually already completed that online. So this guest here, they don't have a balance. They're probably a really great option for us to set up automated self-service check-in, which brings us into sort of the next feature. So now that I've sent that out to that guest, if I also wanted them to be able to basically let me know on their check-in date if they're here or not, or on checkout date if they've actually already vacated, what I can do is create an automated contact in the system. So for checkout and for check-in. And this can be done via email or SMS. And again, it's automated to send at a particular time of the day based on, you know, check-in or check-out. And all we do is place a template in here that sends through to them. If we're emailing it, it will provide, or we need to insert a link into the email for them to confirm that, yes, they have checked in or yes, they have checked out. And what NewBook will do, the special little setting down in our automated contact, is we can activate action items. So if they click the link, NewBook will check the booking in, update the status to arrived, and you know, they'll be checked into the system. So your arrival list will just go down and down and down throughout the day, and your staff will have less manual, you know, one-to-one check-ins or checkouts to complete. So that's a real time saver, definitely a great one to introduce. And these are things you can also just introduce over the busy period and then maybe deactivate after if they're only things that you want to do during certain times of the year. Perfect. So that's our automated action items for self-check-in and self-checkout. We also have, and I'll just pop back to this one here. Give me one moment. I'm just going to open another one of these bookings. Alrighty, let's just, actually, I've got a quicker way to do this. And what I'm going to do is log in online and essentially show you how we can have our guests manage their own bookings as well. So if they need to make a modification to their stay, if they need to potentially cancel their booking without needing to call you, they can actually log in online and manage their bookings and do that themselves. And you have full flexibility over, when they do this and what rates or styles of accommodation it actually applies to. So I'll just pop my details in here. So give me 1 second. I had this all set up. Give me uno momento. Chloe.smith@hotmail.com. Okay, perfect. And this one, I'll pop in my security token just for multi-factor authentication to make sure that it's the right person, obviously logging in and updating the booking details. So once I've logged in here, I have access to view all of my bookings. So I've got obviously quite a number in here. For my cottages, if I want to view that and see what access, I maybe have to modify or cancel my booking online, I click on the booking and down the bottom, if there is a button that displays cancel or update, you will see it down here. If it isn't available, there will be no option such as this particular booking. If we have a look back at one of the other bookings that we have here, so let's go to my confirmed booking and have a look down here, you'll see I have some other features available. So this is actually saying what the particular rate that this guest is booked on and the fact that there may be a confirmed stay, they have access to cancel their booking online. And UBook will know whether to automatically raise the fee. If it does that, it will then send a cancellation request through to you. They can place the reason as to why. And UBook won't issue an automated refund, but again, you'll be notified so that you'll know maybe what you need to issue a refund for. Or hold as a credit for a future stay, or even raise a charge to absorb the balance. So that's cancelling. Modifications are the same, whether they want to extend, reduce, or upgrade or change styles of accommodation. So for anyone that is interested, in that actual setting, you do need to enable that within your rates. So I'll just quickly show you where that is. So under here, in each of your rates, there is a new book online setting tab, and you simply enable within here. So you can also give them flexibility to sort of amend up until 7 days prior to arrival. And then if they want to do it between that or within that period, they need to reach out to you directly. So that's a really great tool to use. Again, less phone calls that you're dealing with and more self-service. So the next option that I wanted to pop into was another one that, again, speeds up the process when it comes to checking a guest in. And it's our paperless check-in feature. So this is great if you've got a really busy front desk, it's chock-a-block, you've got people checking in, Christmas Eve or the day before, all at the same time, and you're trying to get them through as quick as possible. So what we can actually do with this is have tablets set up on each of our desks. And when we go to check them in, we can actually send the booking to a tablet so the guests can fill in any missing information and complete any required fields that might still be outstanding. So at the bottom of the booking here, it says we send it to a particular tablet. We click below, and then our link over here will update and generally show the actual booking that you're ready to check in. Let me just quickly change this. Do one more. That's Bob. Make sure I've got the right one here. If I don't, that's why, because I'm still logged into my guest profile. Apologies, guys. Cool. And then my check-in tablet link. and this is what will happen. So it will take them to the view of their booking and the details. They can update any personal information, agree to any mandatory fields, and then proceed to the next page, which again essentially just shows the terms and conditions and any text that they need to agree to here and sign, pretty much as we did before, but maybe again they haven't done it before they arrived, they're only doing it on check-in. So once we sign that, provided that booking is essentially, wasn't dirty, didn't have an outstanding balance, it will automatically update the booking and actually changed it to arrive. So again, that reduces the steps involved from a front desk team member involved in completing that process. So those are some of the self-service options that are great, like to implement, I guess, before your guests are actually arriving as well, and some of those operational settings and things that you can customize so that you're using the system as effectively as possible. The next section that I wanted to sort of jump into are some more automated features, I guess. They're mainly used, I guess, to, again, increase your efficiencies, but also streamline your processes and maximize your opportunities to potentially bring in a bit more money with some of these features. And some of them can be done, last minute. You could activate them today if you needed to, if you wanted to start selling something, but they could also be preset for next year, for your next busy period. Now, this particular one that I wanted to start on is essentially relating to our task side of things. So in NewBook, we've got the ability to set up your automated tasks. So for things like your cabins or apartments and whatnot, that always have, arrival checks and departure cleans. If you want to ensure that, your checked in or guests that are arriving or even departing are being notified that their room is ready automatically when the tasks are being completed, you can update your arrival check, just for this busy period. You can edit it. And simply in the when completed section, if you have SMS on your license, set a text template to send to bookings with the potential status. So maybe they all have to be confirmed or fully paid, but indicating or letting them know, hey, your room is ready. So it's great for those people that have arrived before it's, been cleaned, and you want to ensure that they're notified as soon as that housekeeping task has been completed from the housekeeping list. And then, once your busy period is over, if you wanted to remove that, you would just come back in here, remove the template and remove the statuses and save. And then that will stop those from sending in the system. So that's a really great one to use initially as well. We also have, these are just a couple extra pieces that we can add to, again, help our guests sort of identify or understand information that's happening during our busy periods. But things like having a new book online message. So this is a message that you can say will appear if they're staying between a particular date, and it can simply let them know, hey, look, our office hours are changing during these dates, or our office is closed, contact details of, after hours support or whatever it may be. So this will sit on your new book online page from the dates that you specify within here if they're due to stay or looking to stay on dates such as these. So I'll just quickly show you that here. So open our place booking page. All right, and you're going to see that sitting nice and clearly at the top for us as well. So that's just a great little tool. Again, that will save calls as well to your property because you're communicating that effectively. So next to that as well is automated contact, separate to the ones I've shown you. Think of anything else that you are consistently doing manually to guests and see if it's something that you could pre-configure to send automatically. So it could be your other signable documents that you might have. So pet agreements, that they have to sign before check-in. It could be just updated booking confirmations. It could be arrival instructions or even the code to get into their entry and exit gates or into their room. How you can automate some of those things. Again, there's various ways that they can be set to be triggered. It might be, on their arrival day at a set time. It could be sending them a receipt automatically after a payment has been made. It could be sending an automated email as soon as a booking is saved in the system. There really is sort of, the world is your oyster with the sort of opportunities you have to automate a lot of these processes. So that's a big overarching feature that kind of feeds into a lot of different areas. That's a good time to start thinking about what you could automate to save a bit of time and make processes a bit more smooth. Separate to that as well, we have upgrade promotions. These can be automatic or they can be manual. So you can either have these sending automatically to guests, after they maybe a day before they check in, or 7 days before, offering them the ability to upgrade from a powered site to an unpowered site, to check out, late for an extra fee, or to stay one night longer to fill those gaps, which is really helpful during those busy periods where last minute changes happen. People vacate a night early and you want to, rebook a night. So you can set these various promotions up. There are certain restrictions and things that you can set within them as to, when it sends out, if it's automatic, what status is, what days of the week bookings are checking in on. And you have the control as to, what the costs are for those as well. And then the templates that can be automated to send the offer, advise that they've been successful, or send them a failure, if there is no availability yet. Because so the system's intuitive enough to be able to tell them, that maybe it's no longer available. So with that being said, if we have a look at a booking that I've got here for Zoe, I can see on the booking view, there are three tabs here saying I've got 2 upgrade options available. So I could essentially update or upgrade from a campground site to a cottage for, it's a pretty large number because it's a completely different style of accommodation. But I could either just manually send it to the guest and they can click a link in the email to confirm it, and NewBook will move the booking and post the charge. Otherwise, I simply upgrade the booking and NewBook will do that automatically for us. So you'll see it's now placed them in a cottage, and you'll also see it's added that extra fee onto their stay as well. So it's just a quick way, again, less manual work from a staff member. They don't have to edit the booking, move it around, add a charge. It's all sort of pre-configured in the system. So it's a really amazing tool. And a lot of people do that through quiet times of the year as well. It's not just for, these last minute, gaps and filling spaces. So that's your upgrade promotions. Again, that's late checkout, extending or changing styles of accommodation. And it can be automated or manual, email or SMS if you've got SMS available. So that's that one. We then have something that I wanted to show you as well. And we've got properties that are just, creating ideas or, brainstorming what sort of things that they could look at implementing, in the next peak period or next holiday period, like family-friendly activities. We have the ability to add, activities where guests can attend something that runs on a particular day for a particular amount of time for a particular amount of people, and they can purchase a ticket for it. So they are completely custom to whatever sort of items you offer. I've set up like a Christmas Eve dinner here. And this is something that can be offered via the NewBook online booking process or sold just directly over the phone. And they can have a booking, or they could just be, a friend that is traveling, for the not traveling, sorry, a friend that is got a friend staying, at the property and wants to attend as well. So what these will look like is, if we have a quick look here. And separate to that, you've also got like the facilities. They're sort of hand in hand. So these might be any items that you rent. So you've got rollaway beds, cots, bikes, conference rooms, tennis rackets, anything like that. You can enable them to sell online during that booking process. And what it means is that when they are on this screen, we can go to the Book Now page, and they're then going to have these extra options to add optional upsell. So it's like an upsell cross-sell tool where you can, again, earn a little bit extra revenue during those periods. And they can simply, see when it's available, how many are left. And once 100 people have purchased that ticket, it will be unavailable for anyone else to book. So it's a really, really amazing feature. Again, same with the facility hire. If you want to ensure that you don't overbook your rollaway beds or your cots, you can set up the inventory in the system, and when they book them here, it'll block them out and ensure that you are charging them for it, and again, not overselling or overbooking. So those are the, I guess, optional upgrade features where you can earn a little bit of extra money at your different businesses or properties, and again, offer it as a self-service option via the online portal so that guests can actually upgrade themselves or add these extras on themselves. The next section we also have that I wanted to pop into as well, which is a great tool. You could potentially implement this via automated contact. It could be that you want to send your guests a link to purchase a voucher for friends and family for the next Christmas period. What you do is set up different voucher amounts that you might sell. You can then also create your own customized amounts. You set if you want to sell them online or not. And what it will look like if we sell online is it will direct them to this purchase gift voucher page. They can put the recipient of the voucher, add it to the cart, and check out just like you would normally. And that's going to process the payment, add that into your new book system, and it'll sit in credit until a guest makes the booking. And when they do that, I'll just quickly show you here. If we had a guest that wanted to redeem a voucher and they had a code for that, there's a add new and then redeem gift voucher option, and they'll basically pop in the code, redeem a specific amount, and then select redeem, and it will just balance transfer that amount over onto their booking so it's being utilized. So that link, again, automate it. You could even include it in your surveys. If you send a survey and somebody completes it and gives you a 9 or a 10, you could insert a link for them to give you a review, or a link to maybe purchase a voucher as a gift idea for next Christmas for friends and family. So vouchers are great. You can also just purchase them via the gift voucher page, in the new book system. So if somebody calls and wants to buy one, we'd head here and we sell the voucher, select which one they want, and proceed through the steps. And we can send them the code and a nice pretty template with a voucher to give their friend. So that's a lovely one as well. I'm just keeping an eye on time. I've still got a few items to get through. So for anyone that has to leave, obviously bang on 9:30, that's totally fine. But I may keep going just for a couple minutes after if you're interested on staying on. And this is recorded, so we will upload this webinar as well so that other team members that haven't participated can watch as well. So we've done vouchers. The next one we wanted to pop into, if I have a look, close these ones. We've done our extras for facility and activities, was booking add-ons. So this is great for things that you can guarantee, where you might not have a minimal amount of inventory for. So it could be like breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It could be them adding a pool towel or extra towels to their stay, extra linen, extra pillow if you want to charge those sorts of things. Where you can add those on. They can advertise them in here, add them to their cart, and then again, you've got another revenue stream that you can pop into for that as well. So booking add-ons are controlled via your inventory item page. So if you're ever wanting to potentially extend some things that you currently sell over the phone to online, it's very much just a matter of clicking into the inventory item and editing at the top. And there is a tab here called booking add-on details, and you simply activate it, and you can also restrict when it's actually available for purchase for. So again, another great tool for upselling, cross-selling, having people pre-purchase all of these amazing things for their, long-awaited holiday at the end of the year. Moving on, I wanted to essentially show us some other areas that we have, I guess, on in terms of like managing bookings and things for the next year, or inquiries that come in, people that want to go and put their details in to rebook. Maybe you're already fully booked and you need to just add their details to what we call like a wait list. On your booking chart, you will notice there's a blue tab on the right. And if you expand that and you're already using the feature, it's going to show existing waitlist bookings that we've got here. Green ones mean that something has become available and that guest essentially could go ahead and make a booking now. And all I would need to do is click it and send a confirmation link through to that guest. So Zoe will receive a template with a link to actually go through and confirm that booking herself online. So if we went to, go to a different tab, this one, okay, goes to this page, she can then go back and log in and update payment details, for this particular one, and literally confirm it online. So it will drop in and be a legitimate booking. So it's a really quick way, especially when you're fully booked, you might have a cancellation, quickly replace it with a existing, guest that's on that wait list. So that can be a really, really helpful one if you need to use that sort of option. In addition to that, you can see the one that's in red. That's just indicating, hey, look, there still isn't availability. To add a waitlist booking, super, super easy. You can literally press new waitlist booking, add the details for the guest. And you've got some options to sort of state, like what accommodation they're after, dates, and whether they're flexible for the dates or the style of accommodation. So if they are, they're obviously going to have more opportunity to have, to come and stay if something becomes available. And once you save that, it'll then sort of appear in the list, and you'll see if it's good to go and they have something available. When I hover, it also highlights on the booking chart. If you can see on the left, it says, here's all of the available rooms, that she could essentially be booked into at this point. So that's a really good way in replacing the bookings that you lose and filling those gaps in. And also, for, first in, best dressed, making sure that, you're tracking those details, building your guest database, so you've got lots of marketing, new guests to market to, even if they don't stay this time. So waitlist is one of them as well. Another one you would have heard me speak to earlier was special dates. So what this is looking at is, essentially you can see it quite clearly here. I've added one in saying Christmas Day, absolutely no arrivals or departures during that period because our reception is closed. So I have set up dates that recur every year, and they'll appear on my booking chart. I've also got some restrictions where I can actually say if a guest is making a booking, over the phone, I can say, you know what, we are not allowed to have any arrivals on the 25th or departures on the 27th. They've got to either check in on the 24th or check out on the 28th. So they've got to stay through. So it's quite a helpful feature. If we pop onto the booking chart, it's referring to, I'll just pop forward as well to these details. Yeah, so it's referring to the different dates and things that we might have set up in the system. So if I go to, where am I? Today's date. There we go, Christmas. So Christmas Day over those periods. If I try to arrive on that day, bookings are not allowed to arrive, and they're not allowed to check out on the 26th. So I either have to stay all the way through or nothing at all. So it's, again, just a good way to put some extra parameters in place and ensure staff are doing the right things if you have any of those sort of restrictions with those particular items. The last one that I also wanted to touch on was our payment plans. There's tons more I could honestly continue with. I could go on and on. But an option for your guests next year and giving people ample time to pay bookings off. So payment plans are really, and we all know the price of living is obviously quite high. And we want to provide, I guess, flexible payment options, to guests these days, so that they can maybe pay a booking off, in advance instead of having to pay everything up front. Similar to Afterpay and those sorts of things, but it's under your own control. So you can set up a payment plan, place restrictions and to say, hey, they at least have to spend $1,000 to be eligible. They must have final payment done by X date. And for those of you who have a credit card gateway, obviously it would work perfectly for that. But if you also have a direct debit gateway, it works for that as well. And NewBook will automatically process these payments based on the schedule. So if we took a quick look at the NewBook online page, I'll just quickly open a fresh one for us. When we get to the checkout page, if there is a payment plan available, again, based on when they have to have it paid by and minimum spend, they will have this option here. And then that tells them what increments they can do. They also can choose the next installment date if you want to give them the flexibility, especially if they get paid on particular days. And then they just pop their card in, agree, and process the payment. Again, it's all automated. All the payment plans will be found in a list in the menu, which will tell you, what booking, when they're checking in, what cycle they're on, when they're next due, and the amount. It will also let you know if they're up to date or if there's been any skipped or, failed transactions. So if a credit card transaction was attempted to be processed and it failed, you'll be notified. It will not rerun it. So you would need to reach out to the guest just to authorized to have that processed externally. It'll just continue doing the next one once that occurs. So that is that, again, payment plan option. Great tool to, again, get different types of guests, coming and staying at your property, giving them an opportunity to, if they're really desperate, and again, maybe just want that extra time to pay off their stay before they come and visit. There's loads more. You can set up rates in advance, for your return guests. One thing I'll quickly touch on as well is rebooking. If you've got people that want to stay, I may have touched on this earlier, I believe. I've had an existing webinar earlier today as well. But you can duplicate a normal booking, but you can also duplicate groups now. So if you've got groups that travel during that peak period, lots of families that stay together, you can actually duplicate an entire group. So it will copy all of the sites, especially for those big groups, and you basically go and update the bookings and just change the dates to be for the next period. So that's a great tool to use as well, just for quick access on that one. But look, that does bring us to the end of our webinar today on getting prepped for Christmas. I really hope you found some of those features helpful. Again, if you have had any questions in the chat, we will get back to them after the session. So we'll reach out to you if you've got any posted in there. And we will also be uploading this via the webinar section in your system as well. So for those of you who want the opportunity to have other staff members watch these, click into your question mark and you'll see webinars, and it will be uploaded and available, in this section here, probably in the next coming days once it's been edited and uploaded for us. And on that note as well, again, always remember, especially during the busy season, you guys are busy, we're all busy. If you just need some standard information about a feature, always check out the knowledge base, and generally the page that you're on, it'll show articles based on that should give you a lot of helpful insight and answers to any of those day-to-day queries. But you can also use the search to locate those. Again, if it's something that's really helpful when you open these up, you can add them to your favorites and start creating your own internal little knowledge base section based on your role and things that you need to know more about each day. But that's it from me. I hope you all have an amazing Christmas period. And obviously that 2024 is epic. And we look forward to seeing you in the next webinar. So thanks so much for joining. Bye, everyone.